Hey everyone, Scribbler Johnny checking in before we continue The Horrible Beauty. And I had been getting overcome with embarrassment and even mortification, uh, reading the uncensored text from the first draft, and then YouTube decided to take the decision out of my hands anyway. And so the last chapter got taken down for content. And so going forward, everything will be censored. So I'm sorry if that disappoints anybody, but I'll be more comfortable with it, and YouTube will be happier with it, even though these stories are not for children and not labeled as such. Anyway, please subscribe, please like. It helps other people to find my stories in case they might be looking for them. I don't make any money from YouTube, and I probably never will. So all I want is for people to enjoy my stories. We now continue The Horrible Beauty in censored and trimmed form. So the family prepares for a very special night, and Etta brews a special potion for Chips so that he will be able to satisfy each wife and perform well. But she accidentally makes it too pure and too strong, and he does not sleep all night long, and discovers that he is the first man that Felice has ever made love with. And he summons Marigold to help him with the condition that he is in from the potion that Etta brewed. And an important thing that happens during this special night is Chips ponders the third Vienna path of the soul, which is to turn an enemy's hate. And Kumak has a special night, and Seven also spends some time being affectionate with Felice, and we get a very detailed lesson about Mataka genitalia, and so we will proceed from there. When we resume, it is the morning after, and Chips has finally collapsed asleep after professing his undying love to Marigold, who in turn swore that she would love him forever as well. Her face was a mask of bliss, so complete she almost looked beautiful. I love Chips, Marigold said. I took care of him for you. He's sleeping now. She caressed his head and gave him one final kiss. She waved goodbye and disappeared into the shadows. Chip snored, laying on his belly. Etta muttered, I am really sorry. I made that potion too pure. Poor Chips. Felice yawned. Do we just leave him there? Sasha nudged her way through them and picked him up. Of course we don't leave him there. Everyone moved to let her pass. As Sasha knelt to lay him down on the cushions, He sleepily kissed her ear and pulled her into an embrace and began snoring again. Sasha lay there in his arms, watching him sleep. Etta busied herself in the kitchen and made some special tea for Felice. I can't believe what happened last night, Felice said as she accepted the cup. I said I was sorry. I wanted him to please everyone, and I didn't dilute it enough. It's not his fault, Etta retorted. Oh, Etta, please don't be mad. I didn't mean anything by that. I had a lovely time. Etta paused, wiped her brow, and gave her ear a kiss. I am sorry for snapping at you too, Felice. I feel bad for my mistake and for him needing to marigold. She gestured vaguely. It's okay, E. Felice sipped her tea. Etta frowned. I still feel like a failure. Let's get started on breakfast. Do you cook? Felice shook her head. Kumak! The Mugu woman ran up. You bellowed? Chop these pears, please. Kumak jumped up on her short stool to grab the chopping knife and set to chopping the pears. Etta prepared some cornmeal pancakes. Felice moved herself out of the way and chatted from the side with the wives. So, Chips has to take care of all of us and some of his ions? We do try to space it out so we don't lead him to an early grave, but yes, he's kind of superhuman at times, Kumak observed. She also sliced some peaches that were there to make a fruit compote to go along with the corn cakes. And Felice added, But you love each other too, of course. Of course. Give us a kiss and tell them Attacker to get ready. Felice kissed them both on the backs of their ears and gave them brief hugs before she returned to the bedroom. She found Sasha and Seven. Over breakfast, they made their plans for the day. Both of the Mataka would go and inform the Knight Commander what had transpired. Etta was going to acquire some more groceries and some candy, and Kumak had intended to perform a naming ceremony at a nearby moon shrine so that she could dedicate Lini's sword to now be her own. What do you plan to name it? Felice asked. I will name him Silver Destiny. They all agreed it was a good name. I would have named it Ukyo, remarked Seven. Ukyo? Isn't that a woman's name? Yes, I think it's a beautiful name. Felice looked around. I suppose I'll stay and watch over Chips then. Thank you, Fifi, Etta replied. And then everyone left. Felice was alone with Chips, who was still sleeping. Felice poured some water into a bowl and grabbed the leftover corn cakes and entered the bedroom to wait for Chips to wake. In time, she stripped out of her robes and climbed under a blanket with him and held him from behind. And she pondered, what have I gotten myself into? I never thought I would end up like this. I thought I'd find a war somewhere, get hired on permanent, or join one of the fighting clans. And here I'm going to be an adventurer and a stepmother. Maybe I'll have a kid or two of my own. It just, I, I have a family. And as she was pondering, Chips murmured something, and she gently kissed his hair. Sleep, love, she whispered. You need your rest. Need Felice. Shh. He did sleep some more, but before much longer, he woke, and he had a small twitch as he came to. He became aware of her arm draped over him and kissed her hand. Good morning, love. Do you still need more Felice? She asked. He rolled to face her and gave her a kiss on her lips. I think I'll always need your love, Felice. I'm learning about you, and more every day I find my love growing. Like right now, you could have set out and let me wake up alone, but you put your time aside to be with me when I woke, to give me a beautiful awakening. She held him tightly. As long as you need me, I'm yours. I find my love growing too, Chips. Thank you, Fifi. Will you be up to giving me a beautiful bedtime tonight? The heart is willing, but the body is very tired. Also, a bit tingly. Did I really? All night long with Marigold, my dear? Yes, indeed. And then Fifi moved to pass him the bowl of water and the corn cakes. He gulped and greedily wolfed down the food. He used the last of the water to rinse his mouth clean and then swallowed. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't leave any for you, he apologized. I ate already. How do you feel now? A little better. She nodded. What should I tell my partners? I think you should tell them the truth. We made peace. We fell in love. It's simple when you look at it that way. She smiled at his words. You're right. I wonder what they'll say. Chips tilted his head. Congratulations, when's the wedding? She laughed. Maybe they'll join our company. We are rich now. We can just travel and sell medicine and never need to risk our lives in some dungeon ever again. We have no enemies. She nodded, and then he took her hand. I'm certain we can give them jobs. This made her purr. Oh, I can't wait for tonight. Felice? Yes. And she reached for his hand. They kissed passionately. And then they made love, and Felice was mindful about how she had been hurt and wounded, and her scars and disfigurements and mutilations had taken a toll on her psychologically as well as physically and emotionally. And she knew that forgiveness would take time. And she also felt her life outlook changing. And now she felt a desire to forgive everyone who had wronged her and to beg forgiveness from those that she had wronged. She could not believe how very in love she was. And she wanted other people to have the opportunity to have such powerful changes into their lives as she was changing into someone that she could be proud of, a benefactor, not a mercenary, a family woman, respectable, living a life surrounded by people who loved her. And she knew her happiness was deep. And at the moon shrine, Kumek was praying to her ancestors, asking them for guidance. and also asking them to witness her naming the sword. And she asked for a miracle. Please, let me bear Chips's children. I want to be a mother, even if my children are fully Mugu, just like a Vienna mother would do with him. And she held aloft the newly christened Silver Destiny. Sasha and Seven reported that they were going to reclaim their hatchlings without shedding a drop of blood. Mika did not take this news well. Why not shed blood? Get vengeance! Make them pay! Mother, we are believing in forgiveness. We had a change of heart. We will choose to be thankful to them for taking care of our spawn and simply take them back. But as you wish, my son, I will not tell you how to raise your children. They nodded and walked away to the practice yard. Something inside them made them want to be sure their combat skills stayed sharp. And so Seven and Sasha sparred with each other. And back at the home, Felice looked down at Chips, who was sleeping again. His head was resting near her heart. And she thought to herself, I am the best woman here. I am the total package. Life is sweet. Felice gently moved to leave Chips to sleep, and she dressed to do some exercising. And as Etta was getting her shopping done, she was having a fantastic day of her own. She found great food and some nice wine to go along with the meals for the day. And then she had a thought that soured everything. Felice is part of our family now, and she's much sexier than me. She's fit, she can do magic, she's beautiful, and every human likes Vienna, and I'm not the only one anymore. So I'm going to be replaced. She returned home. Her smile had run away. She quietly put the food away and looked out the window to see Felice exercising in the backyard. And she looked once more down at her own belly. Etta walked sadly into the bedroom and saw that Chips was again sleeping. She decided that the best choice would be to exercise more, and maybe she would slim down like Felice. It was so hot outside, though. She felt her motivation melt away, just like her cheerful mood had. So she lay down beside Chips and held his hand. Holding hands still felt nice. She gave an air kiss softly. He must have heard or felt her feelings, because then he murmured, Need more, Etta. And she felt her heart leap. He was dreaming about her. She smiled and thought to herself, I need you too, my husband. Felice toweled off and began to wipe herself down with a clean rag and dumped it to cool as she entered the room and looked at Etta there with Chips. Ah, welcome back, Etta. Good day. Etta smiled up at her. Yes, thank you. Did you have a good workout? Felice flexed and patted her flat stomach. Yes, to have to take care of your body as well as your mind. It is the way I live. It's part of taking care of your lovers, too. And she stood there and continued rubbing the wet cloth on her skin to clean up and cool down. I see, Etta replied. I'm working on losing weight, but it's hard. Felice nodded. Well, I'll be glad to help you. We can fence and we can dance with Sasha. We can bond over it and have fun. It doesn't have to be work. Etta came to her feet and nodded at Felice. She rested her forehead against the other woman's. Their ears touched and twitched. As sword sisters, they could do anything together. And then her heart burned and she looked into Felice's eyes. And Felice saw. She nodded and they kissed. At some point, they lost track of time. Kumak cheerfully walked home from the shrine. She was sure that her prayer would be answered. And she heard a human man say, Hey there, little one. Isn't that sword a bit too big for you? I've got one more your size right here. I already have a husband, but thank you, she replied brightly. He was about to say something more, but stopped. She walked on by. She swished her hips. I'm married, so look all you want, but you won't get any of this, she thought. And at home, she found the two Vienna women holding each other, and Chips was sleeping again? Kumak watched them for a bit, feeling her own heart begin to warm. Silver Destiny fell from her nerveless fingers, and she walked forward to join them. The Vienna women smiled at the Mugu woman. They caressed her bat-like ears, gently touched her wings, and welcomed her home. And then the three of them made love. At some point, Chips awoke and became mindful of the fact that he was still naked under his blanket and began to dress himself. And he sat down to read, and Felice sat on his lap. Ah, I do look forward to wedding. I want to be your wife so very much, dear, Felice said. I'll be the best wife, she assured him. Chips nodded and kissed her cheek. You already are the best, Felice. She cooed at this. Etta is the best Etta, Chips continued. Sasha is the best Sasha, and Kumak is the best Kumak. I love you for you. She pouted at this. Well, yes, but I'll be the best wife. I have the best wives. Can't top the best. You will be among the best. You're all the best. But I'm the best. You certainly are. I just have to accept that you won't admit to a favorite, don't I? You're my favorite lover who is in my arms. You are my favorite mend mage. But I'm a bend mage. You are indeed. No, no, you made a mistake just then. So sue me if you want to. I made a mistake. We're not married yet. I promise I won't make that mistake again after, though. Hmm. She smiled and hummed. You know, I'm happy that you were the first man I made love to, Chips. You're a good one. And I think that I'll give you a nickname and call you Sugar Chips. He smiled at this. You got it, beautiful. Will that be my nickname? Felice asked. Sure. All my wives are beautiful, but you can get called by name as being beautiful. Seven and Sasha arrived arm in arm, and Seven let out a short laugh. He lives, Seven joked. Etta, did you give him new special medicine to bring him back? Chips grinned. Felice nursed me, and I rested, and I feel fine now. Well, that's good, added Sasha. And we have smoothed things over with Knight Commander Mika. Will we be ready to return to Cassandra soon? Sasha asked. Well, we just have to find out about travel arrangements. Shall we go by carpet again? And it was then Etta joined them, and she nodded and let them know that she had made a lunch for them and agreed that flying by magic carpet was a great idea. They had a nice salad with some fruit for lunch, as well as some pheasant and fragrant bread with spiced butter. Over lunch, they decided that they would use the same company they had the previous time for their flying carpet arrangements. After making sure to dose the Mataka with warming potions for when they would arrive back in cold Cassandra in the winter, they tried their best to stay awake as they flew to see as much of the beauty of Levantus as they could from up high. The Mataka went torpid and fell asleep, but the others were able to stay awake. They even passed a rider atop a winged horse who waved at them, and they returned the wave in kind. And as they circled down to the landing strip, Kumak and Etta let out cheers. They spiraled slowly and carefully to land ever so gently. Ah, what a shame we couldn't enjoy our first flight, Etta breathed. Felice apologized again. Well, you'll just have to be sure that our next wedding night is better than the first one, Fifi. Oh, I will. I'm so excited, Felice replied. They returned home, and as she looked inside, Felice got very sad once more as she saw that all the chairs were still overturned. You were so upset that you didn't clean up before you left, she observed. Seven put an arm around her. Here, help us to set them aright. It'll help you feel better. We all will. And so they went about fixing things as a group. And Felice noticed their company charter as it was mounted on the wall. It was originally the glorious egg. I can see the difference. A shaky hand wrote that S. And she nearly cried, but then Etta hugged her from behind. It's all forgiven, love. We're making a better tomorrow, right? Felice nodded at this. Speaking of tomorrow, let's go get them as soon as we can. Uh, Tonight, maybe we should ready the home for a welcoming. And Kumek began making suggestions for how to get the home ready. So right now, they're in the woods in Baron DiCarlo's stronghold. It will take some time to get them, Felice informed them. And then Kumak interrupted to ask if the new wagon, the rolling home, was finished. Chip stepped outside to look in their mailbox. The wagon is ready, and we'll need to pay our taxes next month, Chips informed everyone. Okay, said Felice. So we'll make our home nice and pretty, and we'll order a feast, and we'll get the wagon and the team and head out, and then the day after we'll reunite, and we'll take the hatchlings home, and know what will we do about Masha and Charcy there at DeCarlo's fortress? Well, we'll thank them and wave goodbye until the next time we see them, suggested Etta. I promised they could hire on if they wanted to, Chips answered. You didn't consult us, Etta shouted. We don't know if they won't betray us. Felice gently touched her. They aren't traitors. They're my sword sisters. They follow my lead. That means they're your sword sisters. Etta frowned and lowered her hands. Forgiveness, Felice added. Etta nodded. Forgiveness. And then they went to the bedroom and began fixing things up in there and getting some unpacking done. For the evening meal, they ate at a restaurant, Oswald's place. And the Mugu proprietor joked and said, Hey, save some beautiful women for my sons to marry, okay? They laughed along with him good naturedly. Everyone knew that Oswald had only daughters. And then Fortunatus joined them. He waved and shook Etta's hand. She didn't recognize him at first, and he was happy to remind her. Mistress Etta, it is I, Fortunatus. She smiled. It is good to see you. You look well. I am. And then introductions were made. It turned out that Fortunatus was an apprentice wagonwright, and he had assisted in building their rolling home with his own hands. So that's how you knew who I was, Etta remarked. Fortunatus nodded, shook everyone's hands, and bid them good night. I like him, Felice declared. We should join him with us. I don't think it works that way, Seven answered. We're brought together by destiny, and he isn't in our destiny. Sasha agreed, and Felice said, But Seven urged her, You'll understand in time. I guess so, but are you sure he's not in our destiny? I mean, our paths have crossed, and Etta helped him to become his true self. That sounds quite like destiny to me, Felice insisted. Sasha took her hand and said, Well, destiny is not like a letter that you can look at and learn about the contents at your leisure. Destiny is more like a slap in the face. Felice ate thoughtfully, and she pondered Sasha's words. That night, Felice wanted time alone. She paced the backyard, watching her breath fog. And suddenly Chips asked her, having second thoughts, "No, but Vienna men are rare, and my instincts make me want Fortunatus." "Well, just so you know, he was born a woman. He might be unable to give you children anyway." "I didn't know that." "It's his business, but I thought you should know." "That does change things." "Is it true that only a Vienna man can give you a son?" Chips asked. "Yes, so we cherish them. Back in the grasslands, most of us are polygamous, trying to get a better balance between the sexes." "I see. Do you want to be alone some more?" "Yes, but kiss me before you go." He complied, and she gave him a tender hug. "I really do love you," she said. "And I you. What troubles you, Felice?" "Guilt. I feel unworthy to be in your family," Felice replied. "In your house? But here you are. You belong with us. You are one of us." "Thank you, Chips. Go tend to your wives." He kissed her hand before returning inside. Felice turned away from the house, and she saw Shiver step out from behind a snowy tree. "He is something special. He somehow is able to give his whole heart, and he never runs out," Shiver said. "Did he summon you?" "No. I came because I wanted to. Where it is cold, I can be. I like being here." "I see," Felice replied. "Does he, you too?" "Yes. I was his first love. I had to learn to share," Shiver replied. "So it gets easier, sharing?" "Not for me. I'm a solo lover kind of gal. I tend to stay with a lover until they die and then find another." "Oh, do you talk to his other ions?" "No, we live in different realms and we don't visit." "Could I visit your home?" "I doubt it. It's probably much too cold for you." "Oh, well, thank you for talking to me," Felice said. Shiver smiled, and then she began rolling a ball of snow, perhaps intending to make a snowman. Feeling that the conversation was over, Felice sat down on a bench and watched her. Shiver did indeed make a snowman. After finishing, Shiver asked Felice for a kiss. Felice nodded and puckered up. Shiver pouted. "I had hoped I would taste him on your lips. Oh well, goodbye." And then Shiver ran away in a twinkling. Felice decided that ions must all be strange. Her teeth began to chatter, and so she went inside. And then some more lovemaking happens, and skip ahead, skip ahead. Felice, Etta, and Chips have a whispered conversation while Kumek, Sasha, and Seven are playing cards in another room. "I feel strange," Felice whispered. "You welcomed me, but I still feel like I'm apart." Etta looked at her and touched her face. "I hope you don't feel apart like this for long. We've all grown to love you and done our parts to try and help you feel welcomed, and I promise I want you to stay with us, Etta assured her. Thank you, Etta replied. And then Chips held each of their hands. Do you want to talk some more? Chips asked. I'll listen. Felice shook her head and said, I think that I want to be held. So Chips moved to embrace the much taller woman, and she rested her ear against his chest this time. Etta rolled over herself, and she reached over Felice to hold Chips on the shoulder, giving them both a hug. Felice closed her eyes, and she asked, Do you really love me, or am I just pretty? We love you and you're pretty, Etta answered. Etta speaks my thoughts, Chips chimed in, and Felice smiled. Would you still love me if I was still acid burn? That's a tangled question. Your scars would not make you unlovable if that's what you're meaning. You say that now. Felice, you're the same person, the same heart. Your scars are healed and faded. What does it matter? For some reason it troubles me, Felice insisted. You've seen Marigold, Chip said. Yes, I love Marigold. Well, yes, so don't worry about it. Yeah, agreed Etta. I'm fat and I'm loved, and you're pretty and you're loved. Etta smiled. I'm not gorgeous, but you're special and I'm loved and you're belonging with us. Felice nodded. Thank you. In time, they got under the covers and went to sleep. And Felice dreamed. She dreamed that all she could see was darkness, but she felt the pain as Sasha cut her again and again. She woke up suddenly, heard herself whimpering. She tried to stifle it. She reminded herself that she was surrounded by people who loved her, reminded herself that Sasha would not harm her again. Eventually, her heart stopped pounding, and she was able to fall back to sleep. Forgiveness is not easy. Their journey went smoothly as they left Leanie's mill and went into the woods. Felice rode in the front with Etta, and as they were making their travel, they slept in their rolling home for the first time. Their night was restful. It was perfect. But the following morning, Sasha was troubled, anxious for the meeting, and nothing could calm her, it seemed. So they just hurried as best they could to get to the stronghold where Baron DiCarlo, the self-named, waited. The Watchers let them pass, and once they passed through the barriers into the stronghold, things were very quiet. Vigraf was there to greet them. So you're here. And I see you brought our friend with you. Hello, Acid Burn. Yes, she's our friend too. We're here for our children, Sasha replied. Of course you are. I assume you brought the coin? Better. You all get to live, Sasha replied. You're funny. Thank you. Let us speak to the Baron, and then we'll take our children and go. Sure, you can see Baron DiCarlo, and then settle accounts. Every one of you exit the wagon, and one of you comes with me. They climbed out. Let me do the negotiating. I'm great at it, Sasha declared. Felice shuddered. Etta spoke up. No, Satrasha. I'll negotiate. Aww. And so Felice and Etta followed Vigraf. The others were on guard. And Felice remarked, I'm going to go talk to my sword sisters and check on the children. Etta looked at her and kissed her fiercely. Come back to us, she insisted. Vigraf coughed. Felice left them. The Baron is this way, and he pointed to a door. I'll need to keep your satchel, miss. I am Countess Montblanc, and I won't leave it with you. I won't kill him. As you say, Countess. She steeled herself and opened the door to face the Baron alone. The Baron was sitting in a chair adorned with furs. Ah, how are you, mistress? Do sit. She thanked him and sat. So, how much are your children worth to you? 1,000 gold each? I'll give you a better offer. The entirety of the Topaz Dragon Knights will not turn this into a desert filled with your mummified corpses. I'll have you know their grand dame is the very Knight Commander herself. All right, 500 gold each. For that price, I collect your testicles before you die. The Baron swallowed at Etta's threat. I am a hard man, Bunny Big Tits. You won't be in my good graces for much longer. Etta glared at him. I can kill all of you myself. Every member of my family is armed with magical, even legendary armaments. Each of us is capable of killing every one of your men. You have our children. We want them back. Because I am nice, I will give you 1,000 coins exactly, no more. And you swear your fealty to Montblanc. And you live. Baron DiCarlo grinned. I like you. So, as a vassal of Montblanc, I get privileges? Indeed. Food, livery, an allowance. I accept. She nodded and pulled a bag from out of her satchel. It seemed too big and too heavy to have been resting there inside, and it clanked heavily when she set it down on his desk. It's all here. Take me to my family and personally bring us to our children. Aye, my lady. He eyed the bag greedily, but he stood and led her back to join the others. He was smiling the whole time he led them to the chamber. He stopped at the door. So, shall I present myself tomorrow or the next day? 2 days' time, please, Etta replied. Baron Giuseppe Di Carlo bowed, and then he opened the door with a flourish. Ah, here come Mummy and Daddy, called out Felice. They rushed inside, the Mataka ahead. The hatchlings were still quite small, but they were walking upright, and each of the remaining 4 deaths held a child in hand. They walked forward, and they presented them. I am Charcy. This is Lan. I am Masha. This is Al. This is Sum, announced Felice. Seven removed his helmet and held out his arms. Sasha did as well. The children walked forward to their parents' arms, and Sasha spoke to them in Matakala. I am happy to return from my travels. Were you good for Auntie? The children embraced their parents. Let's hurry home, and we'll make intros on the way, said Seven. And then Etta spoke. Thank you for watching our children. Will you come back to Leanie's mill with us? We will, Charcy answered. Sasha held her children, talking to them about how much she loved them. Finally, she stood and said, Let's go home. Charcy, Masha, and Felice rode ahead of the wagon on horseback, having their own private conversation as their reunion was being underway. Sasha and Grimhorda and Etta were inside the wagon, while on the bench, Kumak kept Chip's company. Al, your name is really Nappa. Sum, your name is really Hefzibah. Lan, you are Grimhorda the Eighth, Sasha told them. And there was an electricity in the air as the Grimhorda line was continued. They wrapped the children in fur-trimmed robes with hoods and then introduced them to Etta. Hello, I'm your stepmother. I love your mummy and daddy very much. I love you, too. I sat with you when you were still in the eggs. They can't speak yet, but I'm sure they understand us, especially because they've been hearing the common language their whole lives. In time we'll teach them Matakala. No problem, Sasha assured Etta. The children sat on Sasha's lap, and she hand-fed them pieces of chicken. Seven each gave them a brief lick before sitting down to meditate. Up in the front of the wagon, Kumak leaned against Chips. Our family is whole again. We should see about a sibling for them, maybe. Have you talked to the Vierna about that? Chips asked. I meant you and me. I thought that we couldn't. I prayed for a miracle when I named Silver Destiny, Kumak replied. If we could have a child, would they be a human or a Mugu? I'm afraid of what would happen to you if we were able to have a hybrid. Well, I told my ancestors that it would be okay with me if the child was a full Mugu. But we don't know. Well, no, but I have a really good feeling, Kupo. Kumak, Are you ready for motherhood? Is anyone? He didn't have an answer for that. He was troubled. A good feeling was not the same as an answer. He thought that she was going to be disappointed. But he didn't voice his concern. It was a time for joy. So he put an arm around her, and she chirped. And up ahead, Charcy hissed, "You're going to marry them?" "Yes. You can be happy or you can be disappointed, but my mind is made." Masha replied, "Well, I'm happy for you. Does your human have a cute brother?" "No." "Pity." "Well, I am disappointed," Charcy said, "but I'm with you to the end of our strange road. We're still sword sisters." "Thank you. I'll make sure you're paid well. It's the least you can do. I might even help you get husbands." At that, they cheered. And far away from them, dragons began contacting their kin and their liaisons in the dragoons. Another war was coming. They could tell that Tiamat was stirring in her slumber beneath the mountain that was called by humans Mount Tismi. A great culling would be needed to keep her asleep, lest her children overrun the world and upset the balance, causing terrible cataclysms in their wake. Seven felt something stirring in his meditations as he was communing with the dragon spirit. He didn't know what to make of it, but he felt unease, and he felt trembling and shaking. They had a welcome feast for the children when they reached home, and they made plans to visit the governor on the following day, to declare their children and add Felice to the partnership and the marriage. It would be a very happy day. The children were excited to see their home and their nest and the toys that Kumak had purchased for them beforehand. Spinning tops and toy wagons and soft squeezable vochos. The next day, before they saw the governor, they would also buy a tub for the children to swim in, and some more food just for them. Sasha and Seven spent the night in the room that was now designated the children's room. It had once been the armory, with a brazier and the nests set up, and blankets and cushions, and lots of clean rags. The mammals heard Seven telling the children a story about when he and Mama Etta had been gathering wild honey, and how he had to put soothing medicinal balms on many tender parts of her poor, soft skin, and how his scales had protected him. Only one husband tonight," Etta pouted. Felice offered to help Etta get better at dueling, and Kumek thought that idea was delightful. "I can learn too, and offer you what I learned in the nights. Let's!" And so the three of them practiced with their swords, and Chip sat down to watch. He often applauded, encouraging his wives. They worked themselves to weariness, and Chips gave each of them a hug, and then asked, "Fifi, will you wear your veil on our wedding day for a special?" Kumak liked the idea, and Etta agreed, but Felice was hesitant. "Well, I don't know," she began. "I'd be the only one. I thought you'd liked standing out." "Well, yes, but could I just wear my bend mage hat instead?" "A new hat?" offered Kumak. I like that idea. With that decided, they munched on some celery and hummus for a snack, and Felice bought some smoked ham for the Mataka to snack on, which was very appreciated. And Sasha was holding Hephzibah and Nappa, while Seven held Eight. When their spawn slept, he fed his wife by hand. Snug in their new robes and nappies, they smiled at the children. The others were also feeding each other when Felice returned, and Etta held out a hand for her to snack on a morsel. She opened her mouth and took the bite. So we will have to hire Scarlinda to make Felice's dress, Kumak announced. Etta agreed. Oh, and let us show you how lovely ours are. So they rushed to the closet to show her the dresses that Scarlinda had made, and they discussed how they would make preparations for the ceremony. Chips wandered off and looked outside and saw that it was snowing once more. And amid the snowflakes, he saw a flowing white dress moving around a snowman. He walked to the backyard, and he could now see Shiver. Her blue skin was almost invisible in the dark. She beckoned him. Ah, did you make this snowman? Chips asked. I did, Magus. Yesterday. Are you well? Oh, yes. I see you've got another wife. Yes. I longed for you, Chips. I am here for you. Shiver beckoned him once more after a hesitation, and he followed her to see that she had also, at some point, made an igloo with a blanket of pine needles and maple leaves as the floor. Inside, join me. She crawled, and he followed her. Inside, it was illuminated by some magic, and each block of the snow held an image of Shiver and Chips. It's very beautiful and comfortable, he observed. Thank you. He guessed what it was she longed for, and gave the frost May a kiss. She returned his kiss eagerly, and he did not feel cold as she held his face in her hands. He held her close. She closed her eyes. I freeze for you, Magus. I freeze for you, Shiver. Chill me. She blinked. I don't think that works that way, silly human. Oh, but I'll chill you good, though. And then her dress magically vanished. And then they made love. Your wives probably miss you, she said afterward. Yes. A little longer? Of course. She helped him to dress again and continued to hold him, running her fingers through his hair, making snowflakes appear atop his head. You were my first, and you always will be, Shiver, Chips informed her. Yes, Magus, I miss you, and when you die, I will miss you some more. Will you? Oh, certainly. Maybe a long time, maybe several months, and certainly I'll miss you longer than that Zephyr will. They've got no permanence, unlike Frost Maze. We remember decades and more. When I am a spirit, I will come to you. Don't make promises you can't keep, Magus. You'll be in Elysium or wherever, and you won't spare a thought for little me. Wherever I go, I will remember you. Be assured of that, Shiver. I swear to Ishtar, who blessed me with a bounty of love, I will know you and I will seek you. Like you knew me all those years ago? Clumsily? I thought it was cute. You'd best hurry back, Magus. One more kiss. He obliged her and gave her another hug in the bargain before he crawled out of the igloo and returned to the house. A tear ran down her face, and Shiver sighed wistfully. Ishtar, if you heed the prayers of inhumans, let my Magus return to me after his death. I love him so, unlike any man before him. I know I'm just a frost may, and you are a goddess, but you are a love goddess. Grant me this one request, the only one I have ever made of you. Please, radiant Ishtar. Felice brushed the melting snowflakes out of Chips's hair. Playing in the snow, were you, Sugar Chips? He smiled. You could say that. Well, just say it, Etta insisted. I was playing with my snow May, because she's prettier than my wife. Chips was hurt by Etta saying this. Etta, I was with Shiver, but I thought that by now we were past this. You're beautiful to me, and you're desirable and very important. Etta frowned. But she's beautiful and petite, and she'll never get old. None of your ions will. And she'll always be pretty, unlike Breezy or Marigold. Etta, Chips replied, I love you for exactly who you are. I love you all that way. For exactly who you are. He walked towards her, and she kept him at a distance. Chips, I don't want you to touch me right now, Etta replied. Kumek watched, feeling helpless and miserable. And Felice chimed in. Etta, you're wonderful, and I'm very happy we're going to be co-wives. And I know Chips adores you. Grimhorda adores you. We all do. You're our cornerstone. Chips nodded. She's right. Etta looked down. Oh, I'm doing it again, aren't I? I'm being mean, self-hating Etta Candy again. Felice put an arm around Chips. You hurt Chips just then. You basically told him you don't think he loves you. I didn't mean that. I was just being jealous. She walked forward and she opened up her arms. Chips looked her in the eye before he embraced her. Jealousy hurts me. I try so hard to keep everyone happy, and I don't have a favorite. I really don't. I truly love each individual fully. Felice nodded. Even Shiver noticed that, she added. Kumak started to cry. I wish we could never fight. That hurts me. We just need to be honest with our feelings and not let things get bad. We have to communicate if this marriage can last. Etta released him and wiped away Kumak's tears. I'm sorry. I really am, Etta insisted. Kumak grew to her taller form, and she hugged her. I love you so much, Etta. I wish that you loved yourself. Me too, Kay. Me too.